girlfriend Llama recently got Sea of Thieves, and I've been enjoying teaching her how to play the game. But being new to the seas, and gaming in general, she is still understandably afraid of PvP. So when we set sail the other day...
Can we go fishing?
You wanna do fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do fishing. We decided to go on a nice, relaxing fishing trip. I'm not the best angler on the Sea of Thieves, but I certainly have a few tricks up my sleeve that I was able to share with her, and I would like to share with you. So without further delay, here's some tips to improve your fishing experience in Sea of Thieves. Decorating the ship. When fishing, PvP is perfectly fine, but our goal was to fish in peace. Personally, I love to PvP, but I also find that there are quite a few friendly players on the seas. I intentionally left the ship with the default cosmetics, so that at a glance, it is harder to tell if we are an experienced crew or not. I also like to sail with the white flag these days, as opposed to the Offer Alliance flag. The reason for this is that the Alliance flag, at a quick glance from a distance, can look like an emissary flag, possibly making me a target. Stock up on bait. All baits can be acquired by digging with your shovel. Digging in different spots on islands will have a chance to reveal a worm. There are 3 types of bait, and you'll want a decent stash of all of them. 3 types of worms are grubs, earthworms, and leeches. Grubs can be found by digging in sand. Earthworms can be found by digging in the grass. You'll know that you're digging in the correct spots by listening to the different sounds. Finally, leeches can be found by digging on the shoreline, where the water meets the sand. Worms can also be found randomly in island barrels. These barrels respawn every 30 in-game hours, or every 30 minutes. Pay attention to the in-game time. Depending on the island you're on, certain baits can be hard to come by, so figure out what kind of fish you're most interested in catching and stock up on their respective bait. You are able to carry up to 10 bait on your person, but by pulling out your fishing rod and opening the radial menu, you can add a piece of bait to your fishing rod, enabling you to carry 1 extra bait. Not all fish require bait to catch, but most of them do. Depending on the size of your crew, you may want to have a dedicated bait collector that is constantly shooting off islands to collect bait. To check which kind of bait a fish takes, open your reputation tab and scroll down to Hunter's Call. Shipwreck Fishing. For this method, stock up on earthworms and set sail either for the shores of plenty or the wilds. The native fish to these areas both take earthworms to catch. Another fish that likes earthworms is the wrecker. That means by parking your boat next to a shipwreck in either of these areas, you will be able to catch a diverse range of fish without having to move much. To find a shipwreck, keep an eye on the horizon and look for clusters of birds flying over the water. You can tell the difference between birds that signify a shipwreck and birds that signify floating barrels by the density of the bird cluster. The bird cluster is much more dense over a shipwreck. My favorite part about shipwreck fishing is the barrel loot though. Remember those island barrels that can restock every 30 minutes? Well, so do the barrels inside of shipwrecks. These are superior to the island barrels for one simple reason. They can spawn meat, including fish. By the end of our voyage, Llama and I had collected well over 300 cannonballs, 200 planks, over 100 blunder bombs, and an arsenal of cursed cannonballs. Make alliances. As we were approaching our first shipwreck, I noticed another sloop headed straight in for us. I loaded myself up and prepared for a possible fight, but as they got closer, I noticed that they had a friendly flag flying. I dropped my anchor and climbed up the crow's nest to form an alliance with them. When in an alliance with other ships, 50% of any loot that they earn is automatically given to your crew, with no penalty to the crew selling the loot. Because the values of most fish range on the lower end, the potential passive loot gain from an alliance will usually be worth more than just stealing loot up front. Also, because these guys were new, I dropped them a voyage. I'm sure it'll be easy for them, and maybe they'll bring me a chest to steal. Listen to the music. Skull forts, or skeleton ships, when you are in range of them, will trigger the battle music. When this music is playing, you will be able to fish for battle gills using grubs for bait. I had stopped the boat to loot some floating barrels, which can also contain meat, when a skeleton sloop spawned on us. However, because my boat was not moving, the skeleton ship never came out of the water, and the battle music just continued. This allowed us to remain parked and use some of the grubs that we had stocked up on to catch some battle kills. Eventually, we decided to head on to the next shipwreck, and after we got the boat moving, the music stopped and the skeleton ship never spawned. Using this shipwreck method, Llama and I were able to make a good bit of gold in a reasonable amount of time, and had quite a bit of fun along the way. I highly recommend fishing as a part of the game that can be quite relaxing. Get some bait, find a shipwreck, and enjoy the sounds of the ocean, and the oil in your frying pan. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing. It really makes me feel good inside. For every new subscriber I get after this video is published, I will take a bong rip. Let's see how stoned you guys can get me. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck, pirates.